Hey, my name is Ed Shang, and this video is about how I discovered QiGong Works. It's a little bit funny story, and it has to do with Tantra as well. Do want to mention that I started out in energy about 20-some years ago with a simple meditation. Now, I'm an engineer by background and business person, and so in the field of engineering and business and accounting and science, what really works are numbers. If the numbers add up, then I'm convinced that it works. But in the field of energy, it's all about feeling. If I felt something a little bit more, if I had a better feeling, I knew it worked. That's how I judged what I was doing. I've been studying energy work. I started out about 20 years ago, energy, and it started with a simple meditation. I'm not going to go into that story, but I did a simple 2-minute meditation, and I discovered that things had shifted after that 2-minute meditation. And going into a business meeting, a regular business meeting that I attended all the time, but I did this 2-minute meditation before I went into that business meeting, and I came out going, oh, that was different. That worked. So fast forward to QiGong. I was living in San Francisco about 16 years ago, and I saw a poster for some QiGong, and I knew QiGong was part of the whole energy field, so I went in and went into this kind of introductory class, and this elderly woman, the thing I remember about that was she had about 10 really strong guys lined up right opposite her, and she told the audience, I'm going to knock all these guys over. And then she just tapped on the first guy and they all just fell over. But that wasn't my own experience, so I just kind of thought that was interesting. And she did a few other things to demonstrate how QiGong works. But also when I was in San Francisco, they have these expos, and it could be green expos or energy health expos, but I was walking through the expo, and I was looking. They had a little stage. One of the booths had a stage, and I was watching these people on stage kind of writhing, I go, what is all that about? So I went over there, and it was a booth that was described, it was a Tantra association, and they were going, one of the things you learn in Tantra is how to have what are called endless orgasms. And so women can have endless orgasms. Women's bodies are naturally inclined to have endless orgasms. Men, they're more one and done. I don't know what the biological reason for that is, but so we're all familiar with that, right? So in Tantra, the men learn how to have endless orgasms so they can match the women's natural inclination, and then they get the famous 6-hour Kama Sutra, extended orgasm, extended connection, and so that's one way for couples to go into the 5th dimension together. Now I'll be explaining a lot more about 5th dimension, and that is one of the outcomes of quantum QiGong, which is what I teach. So hit the subscribe button if you want to learn about that, because there's some amazing things that can happen when you go into the 5th dimension. But I'll save that for other videos. So getting back to how I discovered QiGong Works, I don't know, a couple months later, I ended up getting a chance to go to China for a business trip. So I get on the airplane, I go to China, and I ended up in Shanghai, I think it was, and I get off the plane, And I'm walking through the airport, and I'm, kind of jet lagged. I'm not really ready to get into a cab. So I see this bookstore, English bookstore. I go, oh, maybe I'll just pick up a book to read. So I went in there and browsed around, and I saw this book on Qigong, and I go, okay, well, I just saw some couple demonstrations of Qigong, and here I am in China, which is the birthplace of Qigong. So why don't I pick up this book and maybe take a look at it? So later that night in the hotel room, after dinner, I'm sitting around. I can't watch TV. I don't really know Chinese that well. So I unpacking, and I see this book. So I go, well, let me take a look what this book has to offer. And this is kind of a synchronicity, because when I first started meditation, I picked up a book and I did a 2-minute meditation, and that really changed my life. And then I pick up this Qigong book and I do a 2-minute exercise, a Qigong exercise that's described in the book. And then I get, I'm getting kind of tired. I decided to get in bed. And then for some reason I said, I'm going to do this Qigong exercise in bed. Then within about 2 minutes, I experienced the endless orgasm. And that's when the light kind of went off. I go, wow, this Qigong does work. Because I've just experienced an endless orgasm, which is, you can't just go, I'm going to have an endless orgasm and then have it. You've got to kind of get your body in the space where you can experience an endless orgasm. So I also will get into Tantra. That's kind of a side hobby that I enjoy. So if you want to learn more about that, subscribe. So this is a new channel for me. I'm just starting out. My goal is to do 35 videos within the next 7 to 10 days. And I have no idea how it's going to turn out, but I will be doing Qigong exercises, quantum Qigong exercises. And so I'll probably be wearing a mask most of the time. And so, obviously when you're learning this, you're not going to wear a mask. I also will recommend music this makes it kind of different. Music like along the lines of Pink Floyd or Tom Petty or Dandy Warhol's, a lot of rave music kind of things to just get the energy flowing. But eventually you're going to want to do this in the dark with just the music. So I recommend you watch my videos, you kind of learn the moves, and then you turn down the voice on the video, because I'll be giving some instructions, and then you turn up the music that I am doing the exercise to, and then you do it, and then you turn off the video and just do it to the music. So it's kind of a step-by-step progression. And I will mention that the outcome is to go into the 5th dimension. I'll just mention the 3rd dimension is, our physical plane, things we can touch and feel and see in this 3rd dimension. A lot of crap goes on in the 3rd dimension, as we all know. The 4th dimension is the ability of the mind to go in the past and the future. So it's kind of a linear kind of thing. We can go in the past, we can remember where we put our keys, so we don't have to, go hunting for them every single time. But we can also go in the future. We can make plans about, what we're going to cook for dinner, or even what we want to do for the next year or 5-year plans. But the 5th dimension, that's the 4th dimension. The 5th dimension is energy. Okay, so that's a quantum field, or another way of calling it is the Akashic field or Akashic Records, and I'll get more into that later. But the 5th dimension is pure energy. And so that gives you the ability to play with all kinds of emotional energy in the 5th dimension, go from anger to euphoria. So you become a master of the fifth dimensional energy, but there's a lot more to it than that. The fifth dimension, it also is a place where the Akashic Records are stored. Let me just say at this point, Akashic Records are so the energy has information. This is what the quantum scientists, you know, the dark matter. The dark matter is not, the void is not just empty. There's incredible amounts of energy, but there's also information. Now, when you go into the fifth dimension, it's called intuition also. You can go into the fifth dimension, you can access this information for yourself, this intuition. But the funny thing is, you can also access other Akashic records. Everybody has their own Akashic record, which is the history of their, and I don't want to get too woo with you, but it's the history of their soul, of your soul is in the Akashic records. So when you access, you could actually access somebody else's Akashic records with their permission, and you can help them by just reading their Akashic records. And that's something that I'll be explaining more and more as we go along. So anyways, just wanted to give a quick shout out to everybody. Hello, and we'll see you in future videos. Thanks, bye.